Hey guys, it's Peyton and today I'm going to be talking about 13 queer books that I highly recommend to you. These are the books that I love to read probably more than any of the other books because I love seeing these characters being represented and it's so much better. It's just so much better to see actual diversity in characters and not just freaking straight white people all the time, you know? And I personally feel really connected to this community and I have a strong love for a lot of these books, or all of these books. So the first book on this list is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. And this book is all about our main character, Ben. And Ben is non-binary and they come out to their parents at the beginning of this book and it goes horribly. And Ben has to live with their sister that they haven't seen in a long time. Their sister just hasn't been in their lives because I think they had a huge blowout with their parents as well. This is really all about Ben discovering themselves and going to this new school, meeting new people, I think his name is Nathan. And Nathan and their sister are a big impact on their life during this book, and it's just heartwarming to see them starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, we have the terrible part of their parents, not accepting them. And honestly, it's so horrible to see, but it's also important to see in a book because I feel like it's a real thing that happens and it's really freaking sad and it's horrible, but it's a true thing that happens and I feel like so many people could be seen in this. I actually met the author. I went to a whole book signing and I love this book so much. I think it should be talked about more. And look at this freaking cover. It is gorgeous. The next book I'm recommending is Her Royal Harness, what the frick? Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. Now, this is a second book in a companion series, and I completely ignored the first one because people said you could do that, and read this one because this is a female-female romance. One, the cover freaking struck me. I was highly intrigued because it's just so freaking beautiful. And it's all about this girl, Millie. She lives in Texas, I believe, but she really wants to freaking go to this Scottish boarding school. And she ends up doing that and rooming with the Princess of Scotland. They have a lot of fights at first. Like, they don't really like each other, and it becomes like a little soft. Like, they start to like each other a little bit. They become friends, and it's cute. I highly recommend it. I know some people might not like it just because it might be a little too simple, but it made me happy. I felt the chemistry between the two characters, and honestly, that's all I care about when it comes to a romance. Like, if I feel chemistry, if I enjoy the characters, and if I enjoy the characters together, it's a pretty stellar book in my opinion. I also love, like, royal romances. Like, I learned that from Red, White, and Royal Blue. Like, that gave me everything. And the first line is iconic. It says, "There's a unicorn on this." That's all I needed to know. Unicorns is one of my favorite things in the world. And mentioning royal romances, I have to mention this book, okay? And you probably have already heard of it, but I have to mention this book because it's one of my favorite books of all time right now. And it's Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This book is exactly what I want in a book. I felt deeply for both characters individually and together. I loved the chemistry. I felt the struggles they were going through. It's literally just everything, and it's a long book. And I know this is a gripe a lot of people have with this book, is they say it's too long for a romance. But I love freaking fully investing myself in a story and characters. So since we really were with these characters for a long time, I just felt like I was able to fully invest myself even more. And I did a whole reading vlog for this if you want my original thoughts on this book. But this one is like if Trump never got elected, and it's a female president and she is soon going to be running again. It's going to be another election time. Her son, Alex, he's starting to question his identity a little bit. He's always considered himself straight, but now he's like, wait, I might be bisexual. I feel like that's something a lot of people can relate to. He's just fresh out of college. He wants a career in politics as well. He wants to follow in his mother's footsteps. And things seem to be going good until he goes to the royal wedding and meets Prince Henry. He's already met Prince Henry before. They've had many bad encounters. They're always snappy and snarky to each other for some reason. They think each other are hot. Like, come on. And they get in an argument and accidentally knock over the priceless freaking wedding cake. Like, this thing is like $70,000 type of money. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees it in the public. It's all over paparazzi and like everything. Everybody hears about their big blowout fight. So what they decide to do is they need to pretend to be friends in public so things can get brushed over a little bit and people can calm down. While pretending to be friends, they start to fall in love with each other. and it's so pure. It's so soft. Why am I about to cry thinking about it? I really want Casey McQuiston's next book so bad. I literally have tears in my eyes. What is wrong with me? The next book I'm recommending is Crier's War by Nina Varela. So this is a more of a fantasy female romance book. I think it came out earlier this year, and the second one just came out, and I still need to read it. This one is also an enemies to lovers situation. There's these people called the Autome, and they're pretty much created beings. They were constructed, like they are made out of wires and shit, but they're so advanced that they even have blood and like everything. Like they have feelings, and it's intense. And our main character Crier has a lot of emotion, even though she is one of these made beings, the Autome. The Autome were created by humans, but they ended up freaking taking over the world, and now they rule the world, and the humans are the slaves at this point. And our other main character, Ayla, she's a human servant, and she decides she wants to freaking murder Crier so she can make the sovereign, Crier's father, feel the pain that Ayla felt when her whole family was murdered in front of her. She suffered a lot, and her whole point is she wants to murder Crier. But Crier ends up being a really sweetie pie, and she wasn't expecting that, but the whole book she is wanting to kill this girl. Like the whole book. She's still planning on killing her, even though she's softening up a little bit to her. It's a complicated book. The next book that I'm recommending is Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Bayron. It takes place after Cinderella's time, and the world has gone to shit. It's very misogynistic. The king has been making teenage girls come to the ball every year. Like they have to go, and they're pretty much bought by their husbands. They have to do this, and if they aren't bought by the husbands, then they are sold, they're killed, or they're slaves. It's terrible. Like the girls in this world are going through something horrible. And our main character is about to go through this herself. It's her year to go to the ball. She doesn't want to do this. She ends up finding this other girl, Constance, by the freaking mausoleum of Cinderella's grave. They join forces, maybe have a little bit of a romance, and they're trying to go against this whole shit show and trying to find the real story behind Cinderella's past, because it might not be what they were always taught it was. I had so much fun with this book. There's so many great lines and quotes. It's very powerful, but definitely very frustrating with the misogynistic shit in here. Like it's really sad to read about, but it's very soft with the romance, and it's honestly a predictable book. Like you could tell what was going to happen like the whole time, at least for me. It didn't really take away from my reading experience all too much. Like I was just fully invested in this book when I was reading it. The next book I'm recommending is A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney, and this one, I believe the main character is bisexual, but I don't think it comes out in the first book. Like everybody talks about it. There's a second one, and there's going to be a third one. The author herself has said this character is bisexual, and I got the vibes from this book that she might be attracted to one of the girls in this book. So far, she was into this dude in this book, and like that's fine and cute and all, but I really ship her with this girl, and I really hope that ends up happening, because I feel like that would make the story so much more interesting, because I feel like the vibe is just, it's there between those two girls. This book is so much fun because it's an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it gives you similar vibes to like City of Bones, because like demon hunting, she is hunting these things called nightmares, which are nasty little beings that come out of Wonderland. She has to kill them to protect the world. And one day her mentor is poisoned, and she has to travel deeper into Wonderland than ever before so she can try to save him. Shit gets crazy. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to continue on with the series, especially because I ship those two characters and I really hope it happens. The next book I'm recommending is A Girl, Serpent, Thorn by Melissa Basher-Deuce. This one is a fantasy female romance book, and I was captivated by this cover when I first saw it. And I was also captivated by the freaking description, because it kind of reminded me of Shatter Me, because it's about a girl who can't touch people because if she does, she kills them. Her actual skin is poisonous. Like it injects people with like green poison if she touches them. She is the twin of this king of her land, and I believe this is inspired by Persian mythology. Her brother has been in the spotlight his whole life because like he's the king, like blah blah blah, and she's been pushed in the shadows, and she feels like her family is ashamed of her because like she can't fully be out there and be herself, because you know she might accidentally kill somebody. She's just so lonely at this point. She has this cursed poisonous touch because someone cursed her mother back when she was younger, saying that your first daughter would be cursed like this. One day, one of those little beings, like they're kind of like fairies, they capture it, one of the beings that freaking cursed her, and she decides she's gonna go in the dungeons and question them. It's kind of a cute girl in the dungeons. It's an interesting dynamic, lots of fun. Everybody in this book is pretty like morally gray, I would say. I think I read it in one day or something. Like, it was a lot of fun, and I did a whole reading vlog for it as well. The next book I'm recommending is Who I Was With Her by Anita Tyndall. And this is like one of my new favorite books ever. I read it just recently. It is so heavy because it's about a girl who's in a secret relationship with this other girl, and then she dies after a year of them secretly dating. No one knows like how in love they were, so she can't even fully express how freaking devastated she is. No one even knew they were friends. The only person that knows about their relationship is this girl's brother, but the brother doesn't really like her right now because he felt like she was holding his sister back and like was ashamed of her, when really she was just really terrified of coming out to all of her friends and family. And this is just a book about a girl terrified, like I said, of coming to terms with her sexuality and letting everybody know. And I feel like that's such a relatable thing, and it really spoke to me as well. Also just dealing with this immense grief and how horrible that is. And we also have flashbacks of her relationship with the girlfriend Maggie. We also see Corinne, our main character, connect with one of Maggie's ex-girlfriends, and they kind of have a bond and a little bit of a romantic thing, but it's really not about that. It's about Corinne and Maggie's relationship, and it's also about Corinne coming to terms with what she wants with herself and not what everybody else wants for her. So Maggie wanted a certain thing for Corinne's life. Her parents want a certain thing for Corinne's life. Corinne has to realize what she wants. It's just a powerful story of that. Everything I just said, it hurts, man. It's a tearjerker, but I was so in love with this book, and I still am. The next book I'm recommending is Felix Ever After by Kason Callender, and this is about a trans boy. He has been out for a while, and then something really bad happens at his school. Someone puts a bunch of pictures of him before his transition. They even wrote their dead name on wherever this was posted in the school. Felix is just obviously not happy about this. They're devastated, and it's just really hard right now. And he is kind of determined to find out who did this to him. I wasn't sure if I was liking it so much because I thought it was going one way with this romance that's in it. But then it completely turned the other way where I was hoping it would go. And obviously the romance isn't like the most important part of a book for something with such a powerful message like this, but it was a big part of the book, and he was kind of liking somebody that I was not liking. I'll just say it ended up going the way I was hoping it would go, and that fully satisfied me. So I definitely recommend this book because, one, beautiful message. The last scene is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is going to be so useful to so many trans youth and just people in general. It's going to educate people, and it's going to help people feel seen. It's written by a trans author. Everything about it is beautiful. The cover, the story inside, the message inside, the romance inside, the friendships inside, and I highly recommend you give this a try. The next book I'm recommending is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson, and this is another book that came out this year. Female romance once again. I really love this book because it is about Liz Leidy. She is running for prom queen, which is something she never thought she would do. Her town has prom as a huge thing, and this year, like, you could win a huge scholarship if you win prom queen, which honestly is so stupid. Like, that's just a popularity contest. Liz has just never really been the popular girl. She's also a black girl. She has a lot of anxiety, and she's just not very confident at this point in her life. I also appreciated the anxiety representation. She has panic attacks in here, and I also just love seeing her like being herself. She's breaking those boundaries. She is breaking the stereotypes, and that is something I love to see. She is just like, I am not going to miss out on going to my dream college, and if this is what I gotta do, I'm doing it. And not only do we have those powerful moments, but we also have a really cute romance because there's another girl that is trying to be prom queen that is a new girl to school. Her name's Mac. She is so freaking cool. Okay, it's just freaking cute. Hey everyone, it's Peyton from the future, and I completely forgot to mention one of the books on this list, so I'm just gonna insert it right here. I don't own one of them, so this is why this happened, but it's Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Karam. I really enjoyed it overall. The first one actually doesn't really explore sexuality, but there's a second book that I also read that actually does explore his sexuality, and he is gay and he is kind of in a love triangle with two other boys, which is an interesting thing, and I had a lot of fun with that. But the first one is more just about his connection to his family that lives in Iran. He is Persian and he hasn't felt all too connected to it because he's biracial and he's been living in America this whole time, and he hasn't even met his grandparents before. But when he finds out his grandpa is pretty much about to die, they go to Iran and visit them, and it's really just about his friendship that he develops with this boy that he meets there. It's no romantic involvement whatsoever. It's a sweet story, and I really enjoyed getting this perspective, and it was also dealing a lot with his relationship with his father, and I just feel like these books are really good. I especially enjoyed the second one because I just felt like I knew Darius more by that point, and it was just a more enjoyable experience. I think it's gonna be a trilogy because the second one kind of left off on a little cliffhanger, and I'm just like, I need to know what's going on. I'm kind of invested in these characters now, so I definitely recommend this book, and I am so stupid for forgetting to film this clip earlier. So the 13th book on this list is probably like the lowest on the recommendation level, just because like I feel like these books that I've mentioned like heavily focused on LGBT characters, and like those are the forefront characters, and that is what I love so much, and it's so important that we have that. But I also feel like Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare has two characters in here that I freaking love so much, and I just want to talk about them because I feel like Cassandra Clare has always put LGBTQ plus characters in her books. She actually was the first time I was ever experienced to like a gay character in a book. Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood, I read those in middle school, and I honestly like I just was never exposed to those type of relationships before, and I'm so glad she exposed that to me because it opened the doors for me to find like so many more books like these. Like I actively was searching out for things. Two characters in here that I really love is Matthew Fairchild, and he is bisexual. It's mentioned he's bisexual, and he has liked both men and women, and it's not made into like a big deal. It's just like, you know, like fun fact about Matthew. And then we have Anna Lightwood, and she's like the standout in this freaking book when it comes to this because she is just awesome. There's a short story, like a novella of her in Ghosts of the Shadowhunter Market, and it's just from her point of view and coming to terms with her sexuality, her first like little relationship that she has with this girl who also appears in this book. We see her experimenting with her style. This book is set in Edwardian England, so the dressing back then was like heavy gowns and shit like that, but Anna Lightwood, she wants to dress in like the most fashionable freaking tailored suits. Like she has the best fashion sense, and here's just a picture, like here's an illustration of her, and it's just her attitude, like everything about her is just like the coolest freaking person, and I just loved to read the novella about her. But I just wanted to mention it because I really love those two characters, and I feel like Cassandra Clare, like a lot of people hate her, but like I feel like there's a lot of good things in her books that we can also look out for. So that is it for all of my recommendations. I hope you found a new book today. Let me know if there is one that you're kind of interested in, or if you've read any of these books and loved them. I would love to know your thoughts on them. Like this video, comment down below, have a good day, please subscribe, make sure to follow all my social medias which are linked down below, and go click the bell button which is right by the subscribe button which you should already clicked, and goodbye.